It was a cold winter afternoon, the kind that made your bones ache just from stepping outside, when the biker gang rolled into town. Their rumbling engines echoed across the empty streets of the small town near U.S. Special Forces training camp. The group, led by a man called Razor, was known for their unruly behavior and their constant run-ins with the law. They weren't the kind to back down from a fight, and they were about to make a very big mistakes at the same time. Inside the training camp, Sergeant Caleb Ross, an experienced Special Forces soldier, was finishing up his morning run. Caleb had seen it all: grueling missions, intense combat, and more than enough time in the field to know how to survive. But more than that, he was a man who believed in the value of discipline and respect, something that most bikers, like Razor, often mocked. The bikers were looking for trouble, and trouble came calling when they pulled up to a local bar just outside the training camp gates. Razor and his crew swaggered in, making themselves at home with their loud laughter and exaggerated bravado. They ordered shots of whiskey and taunted the bar owner, a retired Army veteran, into giving them a discount. That was their first mistake, underestimating the veterans who frequented that bar. As the bikers grew louder, Caleb entered the bar, dressed casually in civilian clothes, but still exuding the kind of quiet intensity that couldn't be hidden. He was there to relax, unwind from the week's grueling exercises, but it wasn't long before the tension in the room became palpable. Razor and his crew noticed Caleb immediately. They saw a soldier and assumed that, like the others they had encountered, he was just another man they could push around. Razor, eager to make a point, stood up and approached Caleb. He threw his chest out, trying to intimidate him with his towering figure and his thick leather jacket that displayed a patch reading "Outlaws Forever." "Hey, soldier, you got a problem with us?" Razor smirked, the rest of his gang looking on with amusement. Caleb studied Razor for a long moment, his eyes calm but sharp. "No problem at all. But if you keep disrupting the peace, you're going to make one." Razor laughed loudly, slapping his hand on Caleb's shoulder. "What's the matter, soldier? You gonna teach me some discipline?" he sneered. The bar fell silent. No one had the guts to intervene. The bikers had a reputation for violence, and Caleb knew it wouldn't take much for things to escalate. "You're in the wrong place, Razor," Caleb said quietly. Razor didn't take kindly to being threatened. He leaned in, getting even closer to Caleb, his breath heavy with alcohol. "You think you can talk to me like that? I'm Razor. I don't take orders from anyone, especially not some soldier." Before Caleb could respond, Razor shoved him backward. But Caleb didn't stumble. Instead, he grabbed Razor's wrist in a swift, precise motion, using his opponent's momentum to twist his arm behind his back. The bikers froze, their amusement quickly turning into confusion. Razor growled in pain, but Caleb didn't let go. "You're lucky you're not dealing with someone who has time for this. I'm just trying to enjoy a drink, but you made the mistake of underestimating me." The room went dead quiet. Caleb had put Razor in a hold that was neither painful nor threatening at least not yet. But it was enough to send a message. The gang members were staring at Caleb, now realizing they'd picked the wrong fight. Razor, realizing he had no chance, muttered a curse and motioned for his crew to back off. But Caleb wasn't finished yet. He leaned in close to Razor's ear and whispered, "If you ever think about messing with a soldier again, make sure you know who you're dealing with." With that, Caleb released Razor and stepped back. He straightened his jacket and gave the bikers a final look before walking out of the bar. The bikers didn't pursue. They knew when to back down. Razor's crew was left standing, humiliated, their wild, rebellious image shattered by the quiet strength of a soldier who had no interest in showing off but knew exactly how to handle a threat. Back outside, the cold air hit Caleb's face as he walked toward his car, his boots crunching against the snow. He didn't need to prove anything to anyone, least of all to a group of bikers who didn't understand discipline. Caleb knew that strength wasn't just about how hard you could hit, but how well you knew when to walk away. And for Razor and his gang, they learned the hard way that messing with the wrong soldier was a mistake they'd never forget.